Eisenhütte. Hier. Polizei fand Kirkland in seiner Wohnung, nachdem er seinen Vorarbeiter angezeigt hatte, dass er nicht zur Arbeit erschienen war. Außer dem Wort Justiz ist am Ort mit Blut geschrieben stand, nichts Auffälliges am Tatort. Keine Zeugen, nichts von Interesse in Kirklands Privatleben ermittelt. Okay, da kommen wir hier noch raus. Eisenwalzwerk. Ja, das stimmt. Das ist irgendwie, schaut das ein bisschen kaputt aus, ne? X-Cloud, grüß die.
This place sure is big. I wonder if they actually make anything useful.
Gießerei zum Vorarbeiter.
Excuse me, sir. Are you in charge here?
Unfortunately. Who are you? This area isn't open to the public.
I'm Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator looking into the murder of one of your workers.
A private investigator, eh? Then maybe you can help me out.
I'll do what I can, but I'll need to ask you some questions, Mr.
Mims. Sanford Mims. Go ahead, but make it snappy.
Aber zack, zack. Hannibal.
What can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland? A former employee here?
Listen, I've got a lot on my mind right now.
I understand, but it's important to my investigation that you tell me what you know about him.
I'm sure it is, but as you can see, I've got a lot to deal with right now.
Well, he's no help. Maybe you can figure out a way to help him help us.
What happened to your iron mill?
What's it look like? The damn thing went and got blown up.
Was it in disrepair?
Of course not. All my machinery is sound, checked and serviced regularly. This is the work of those goddamn Redites. I'm sure of it.
What makes you certain the explosion was the Redites doing?
Take a look, boy. The whole mill got taken out. Even if this had been a mechanical failure, which it wasn't, the explosion would have been contained to a single part of the machine. This couldn't have been anything other than sabotage.
Have you had problems with the Redites before?
They've sent anonymous letters, but this is the first time they've actually carried out one of their threats.
You're absolutely sure this was sabotage, then?
Yes. How many times have I got to tell you that? Listen, you said you were an investigator, right? So find out who did this to my machine. If you do, I'll help you out with whatever else you wanted to ask me about.
Looks like we haven't got much of a choice. He seems pretty upset about his machine.
I'll see what I can do.
Mann. Der ist aber böse. Oder genervt.
How long have you been the foreman here?
Sometimes I think it's been too long. Things were so much easier before we got these machines. They keep saying they're supposed to improve our lives, but they've been nothing but trouble. I've already had 5 of my best men get mangled by some of them. And then there's these damn fools blowing things up. My hair wasn't this gray 5 years ago, you know. I swear one of these days, I'm just going to pack it all up and retire. Let someone else deal with these damn things.
Schau mal, ob uns trotzdem hier was sagt.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
The who?
He's a serial murderer who's killed 5 men over the past 4 months.
Is that right? Never heard of him.
He may have killed one of your men. Weren't the police here asking about it?
Oh, is that what that was all about? I know they came poking around here a while back, but I was busy dealing with other things.
It's nice to see the lines of communication here are wide open.
Okay, dann können wir jetzt noch nichts machen.
Be careful on your way out.
This place sure is big. I wonder if they actually make anything useful. Completely ruined. Whoever sabotaged this knew what they were doing. Completely ruined.
Ja, okay, aber das bringt uns jetzt nicht viel. Da müssen wir wohl zum Bereich der Arbeiter.
Hey, that area is for workers only.
My apologies.
Hä? Du hast doch gesagt, ich soll dir helfen. Da muss ich doch die Mitarbeiter befragen.
Yes, what is it?
Are you sure?
It's like I've told you. I've got to deal with this mess. I don't...
I'll be going.
Be careful.
Das finde ich crazy. Brückenbaustelle. Wahrscheinlich braucht er jetzt auch noch mal irgendeine Hilfe oder so. Bauarbeiter, 29, an der Brücke, Kurzbericht Polizei, fand Bowditch zu Hause auf, nachdem sein Arbeitgeber die Polizei verständigt. Tatort zeigt typische Spuren des sogenannten Justizkillers, aber ansonsten keine weiteren Hinweise, keine Zeugen, keine Erkenntnisse durch Befragung seiner Kollegen und einer Ex-Freundin.
Huh, they seem to be making pretty decent progress.
So, The Lämpchen.
Safe for only 25 men at once. I used to draw the line at 2. I wonder if it would be any fun to tie yourself to that thing and go for a few spins.
Excuse me.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is a construction area.
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. I'm looking into the murder of a man who used to work here.
Who? Bowditch?
That's right.
I got nothing to say about him, and neither do the rest of the boys.
I've only got a few questions. If you could just...
I've got nothing to say to you. You want to know more about Bowditch? Go talk to his little woman.
Where can I find her?
Ruin Coffee House. She's the serving girl. Now get out of here. If something falls on you, I'm not gonna take responsibility.
Short and to the point. I can respect that, even if it's extremely unhelpful.
Okay, der redet wohl dann auch nicht mit uns. Mann. Unhöfliche Leute. Oh, das war's dann auch schon. Oh. Ah, Kaffeehaus. Wären wir wieder da? Das schaut aber jetzt anders aus hier.
Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles? All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee? Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea for them. Simon Banks, professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean. P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambulate. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy. Green's sulfur soap. Beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor, or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently. Dr. W.S. Sales Wonder Tonic. The best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive. Nice seaside landscape. Definitely a stark contrast to the ambiance in here.
Ist es eigentlich das gleiche jetzt wie das Kaffeehaus, wo wir uns mit Abten getroffen haben? Ich glaube eigentlich nicht, ne?
What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way. Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
So, da kann ich nichts machen. Da gab's
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies. If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea. A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add. Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day. The specialty house brews. These are definitely not coffee. Seems like they have a little something for everyone in here.
Okay, Bedienung.
Begging your pardon, miss.
How can I help you, sir?
Ah, ja, das ist doch ein anderes Kaffeehaus.
I understand you were involved with Ennis Bowditch.
was involved, yes. I haven't spoken to him in nearly 2 months.
Oh, were you not aware of his death then?
What? Ennis is dead?
Well, this is awkward.
Oh.
Indeed. I'm sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
How did it happen?
I'm afraid he was murdered.
Murdered? By who? And why?
Those are exactly the questions I'm trying to answer myself.
Oh, I see. Are you a detective?
A private investigator, yes.
Well, I'll answer what I can. If it helps any, that is.
I'm certain it will.
Oh, merci, chérie.
What was your relationship with Mr. Bowditch like?
Oh, well, it was nice at first. He was a proper gentleman-like. But then something changed.
Oh?
It's like I told Ruby. I think he might have got hit on the head at work, because he seemed to be a completely different person. He'd get angry for no reason. He even... Well, that bit's not important. At first, I thought he was just going through some rough times, but after a while I realized he'd changed for the worse. So I broke things off. He wasn't too happy about it, but I wasn't going to stick with a man like that.
Kann es sein, dass alle Männer, also okay, jetzt haben wir nur 2 bis jetzt, aber alle Männer vielleicht die Freundin und Frau geschlagen haben?
This friend of yours, Ruby, did she know an MP named Percival McDonough?
I'm not sure. Ruby knows a lot of men.
Is that so?
Well, no, I don't mean... It's just... Oh, damn it all, me and my big mouth. She'll have my guts for garters now.
It's all right. No one's in trouble. But I think I'd like to speak with Ruby. Could you tell me where I can find her?
No. You see, she moves around quite a lot. Never in the same place for more than a night or 2.
Right. I think she's given us a clear picture of what Ruby does for a living. Normally, I'd be all for pressing this girl more until she cracks, but I like her. I think we'll be able to find Ruby without causing her more discomfort.
Well, thank you for the information. You've been very helpful. Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
Justice Killer? Is that some kind of pesticide?
No, it isn't. Never mind.
Über sie selbst?
You've been working here for quite a while, haven't you?
I have, yes. Coming up on 3 years. Been a real pleasure getting to know all the regulars. They've come to be sort of like a second family. By the way, whatever happened with you and your lady friend?
I beg your pardon?
Well, that nice lady, you met her a couple of times. Did it work out between
Also waren wir doch hier.
Oh, that? No, that was strictly business.
Right. Well, if you see her, tell her I said hello.
I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you, sir.
Aber das ist doch das hier. Ja, dann. Aber ich konnte, glaube ich, noch nicht mit ihr reden. Das kann sein. Da meinte sie die Konstante. Zentrales Lampenlager.
You there! What are you doing?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm trying to find out about...
No time for that now. Get in here and shield your eyes.
I beg your pardon?
Just do it.
What's going on exactly?
Shh. Everything ready, Alex? 3, 2, 1, go! Amazing! It works! It works!
What works?
Etheric lamps! Our experiment was a success!
What exactly have we wandered into here, Miles?
Ich bin mir jetzt ehrlich gesagt auch gar nicht so sicher. Notizbuch, warte mal. Lampen anzünden im Bereich des zentralen Lampendepots wird Rochester 26. Nachdem die Nachbarin Ethel Williamson einen Schuss gemeldet hatte, fand Officer Douglas Parsons ihn in seiner Wohnung. Er untersuchte den Tatort und fand das Blut, mit Blut geschrieben, das Wort Justiz. Aber keine weiteren Hinweise. Nachforschungen zu Kors Privatleben und Gewohnheiten ergaben keine weiteren Hinweise.
May I ask you a few questions?
Of course! What would you like to know?
Course.
You worked with a man named Burley Cause, is that right?
Yes, I heard he was killed. Such a senseless tragedy. It's a shame he missed out on our demonstration. He was really interested in etheric technology.
Wasn't he concerned about losing his job to these technological advances?
He had no reason to. It's been made clear to all the workers that there will always be a place for us, even if our jobs are made obsolete. Unlike some other places, we take care of our own here at the Lamplight Depot.
How noble. But I'm pretty sure he's full of more hot air than the HMS Lenore.
Is there anything you know about Mr. Cause's personal life that might be relevant?
I know he was married, but I don't believe he had any children. Oh, and he used to talk about his love for fishing.
Could you give me his home address? Perhaps his wife will be willing to speak with me.
Yes, certainly. He lived at 820 Orchard Avenue, apartment 2A.
Thank you for the information.
Merci, Cherie. Da bin ich ja auch echt gespannt, ob die Frau dann auch das gleiche erzählt.
Unfortunately, I don't. The police were here asking questions, but they didn't give me many details.
Do you know of anyone who might have wanted him dead?
Not at all. Burley was very friendly, always treated everyone around here with respect. You know, it's sad to think that for all our leaps forward, we're still really just a bunch of savages.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I've read about it in the newspaper. A horrible business. It makes me wish we could install more street lamps to keep this city safer at night. Someday, I hope to realize that dream. Then we'll really deserve to be called Lamplight City.
You think brighter streets will stop serial murderers?
It's well known that crime rates are lower in Lyon and Worcester, and they have many more street lamps per square mile.
I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of wealth in those areas. Has to be all about the lighting.
You mentioned something about etheric lamps?
Yes! Weren't you paying attention to our demonstration? You have just witnessed history!
What I witnessed was a blinding flash of light.
Exactly! That flash was the result of years of painstaking research and experimentation. It means that not only does ethericity exist, but it can be used as a source of illumination. If these experiments continue to be successful, as I suspect they will, we'll have etheric street lamps before the end of the decade. Imagine lamps that burn twice as bright, 4 times as long. Oh, this will change everything.
And if it's like anything else we've seen, it'll put a lot of people out of work, too.
With all these promises of technological advancement, have the Redites given you any trouble?
Oh, those tech-fearing dolts. Yes, I'm sorry to say that we've gotten threats from them. They have yet to carry any out, which is unsurprising.
How so?
Groups like that are all bluster and no backbone.
I've seen some evidence to the contrary.
Is that right? Well, we've seen little beyond threatening letters, and I intend to make sure it stays that way.
You have any of these letters I might have a look at?
Yes, I have one. I'll give it to you before you leave.
Merci.
What is it you do here exactly?
Oh, several things. This is the main hub of the city's Department of Illumination. It's really just a grandiose way of saying that this is where all affairs related to street lamps and public lighting are taken care of. But, in addition to sending out lamplighters or mechanics to repair damaged lamps, we also do research into new methods of illumination. That's what my personal specialization is. I help develop and test more efficient ways of lighting our streets. I guess you could consider me a modern-day Prometheus. Yes.
More like an everyday pretentious.
Thank you. Your cooperation is much appreciated.
Happy to help.
Happy
Here's
to help.
that letter you were asking about.
Merci. An die Ingenieure des Chaos und der Zerstörung, ihr arbeitet in völligem Gegensatz zur natürlichen Ordnung der Dinge. Eure sogenannten Verbesserungen werden der Untergang unserer Gesellschaft sein. Wenn ihr eure unsäglichen Experimente nicht beendet, sind die Reddits gezwungen, aktiv zu werden. Lasst euch das als Warnung sein. PF.
Now that's interesting. Whoever wrote this letter signed it with initials. They can't have been so stupid as to make themselves so easily identifiable. Can they?
PF. Boah, das ist ja ein echt unangenehmes Geräusch, ehrlich gesagt.
I wouldn't get too close to that thing. It might end up turning you inside out. Too bad you didn't get a chance to read that sign before their little experiment. Just a bunch of crap they used to build street lamps with.
Bagheera, grüß dich.
So this is where all the lamps in the city come from. I can't believe I never bothered finding out before.
Okay. Achso, warte mal. Habe ich die... Achso, habe ich nur den einen... Okay, das war praktisch ein Brief. Okay. So, Wohnung. Gut geht's, Bagheera. Und dir?
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
Das ist klar, dass hier keiner zu Hause ist.
And I thought the housekeeping in my apartment was bad.
Yeah? May I help you, young man?
Hello, madam. My name is Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I have some questions about your neighbor.
You mean my former neighbor?
Yes. In any case, I'd appreciate it if you could help me with some information.
Nah, I don't think so. The last person to ask me about him was that awful policeman. I don't want to have to go through that again.
I'm sorry you had a bad experience, but I can assure you I won't give you a hard time.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but actions speak louder than words.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Is there anything I can do for you then?
Well, since you asked, my layabout husband is out wasting our retirement fund with his drinking. Go find him and bring him back here. Then maybe we can talk.
Oh, wonderful. Now we're playing babysitter.
You'll find him at the Silent Raven. It's not too far from here.
Yes, I know it.
Good. My husband's name is Kurt Williamson. You tell him his wife Ethel wants him home at once.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Williamson.
Okay, also das heißt, jetzt müssen wir echt noch sonst noch Sachen erledigen. Okay. Auch gut, nur so wie gar nicht geschlafen, freue mich schon zu Bett zu gehen am Abend. Du kannst doch auch so ein Powernapping machen. Mir geht's auch gut, aber ich bin auch sehr, sehr müde. Ja, wir hatten jetzt auch das Wochenende Besuch vom Smokey und so und gestern auch Full House, haben wir einen schönen Spieleabend gemacht und der ging halt sehr, 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 sehr lang, ne? Und deswegen bin ich auch ein klein wenig müde. Aber ich wollte jetzt einfach das Spiel noch ein bisschen weiter spielen, dass wir da mal vorankommen. Schon wieder hier immer, ne? Also wir werden auch nicht ganz zu lang spielen, vielleicht noch ein Stündchen und dann guck mal. Ah, das ist aber bestimmt.
Excuse me, are you Kurt Williamson?
That's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
Oh, yeah? What is it you want from me?
Ja, Frau möchte Sie unverzüglich wieder zu Hause haben. Tut mir leid, Sie zu belästigen.
Ethel sent me to tell you she wants you to come home right away.
I should have known. I can't get away for more than a few hours before she's put the entire city on high alert. How much of my retirement fund did she waste on getting you to come down here?
I'm only doing this because I need some information.
The joke's on you, then. You can just go back and tell her I'll come home when I'm damn well ready.
Warum wollen Sie nicht nach Hause
Why is
gehen?
it you're so averse to returning home?
I enjoy going out and having a good time. Is that so wrong?
Your wife told me she doesn't like you spending your money on drink.
What I spend my money on is none of her business, and even less of yours. What's this world coming to when a man can't even drink in peace without all his affairs shouted from the rooftops?
You know, this whole situation seems awfully familiar.
Ja, das, ja.
Listen, Mr. Williamson, I think I know what you're going through.
Oh, yeah?
My wife and I were having a rough patch. I wasn't being honest with her, and it nearly drove us apart.
But you managed to fix things.
Yes, I was fortunate. I did the right thing before it was too late.
And what did you do?
Ist heute Abend dann nochmal online oder heute nicht mehr? Nee, heute nicht mehr. Nur jetzt dann so ein bisschen. Das kenne ich gut, besonders wenn wir einen Poker machen. Ja, wir haben mit Poker angefangen und haben dann Stadt, Land, Fluss noch gespielt und dann haben wir noch Monopoly gespielt. Also um 17 Uhr sind die Damen und Herren gekommen und ja, haben eigentlich so um 18 Uhr angefangen. Und ich glaube bis 3:30 oder so. Also das ist auch schon ein bisschen. Aber wirklich lustig. Ich habe ihr die Wahrheit gesagt, dass ich nämlich Stimmen meines toten Partners höre. Genau. Ich habe ehrlich und offen mit ihr gesprochen. Ich bereitete ihr ein wenig Vergnügen. Ich habe ehrlich und offen gesprochen, weil das geht ihm nichts an.
It was simple. I just communicated honestly and openly with her. I told her what was wrong and how I was feeling. And you know what? She listened. Have you ever told Ethel why you like going out?
No. I assumed she wouldn't understand. I really wish she would come out with me, but I know she'd never agree.
How do you know? Have you actually talked to her about this?
Well, no.
Well, then maybe you should. If she knew you wanted company, she might just give it a try.
You know, I never thought of it like that. I'm going to go home right now and tell her. And if she refuses, well, at least I asked, right?
That's the spirit.
Thanks for the advice, friend. I really do appreciate it.
Na, hervorragend. Dann gehen wir wieder zurück, oder?
Not bad. I have to say, I'm impressed.
Ha, siehst du das? Das ist QIA. Und schauen wir mal. Wahrscheinlich macht sie das Zimmer auf. Oder sagt irgendwas, weil wir es ganz vergeigt haben. Oder wahrscheinlich wohnt sie jetzt da. Hä?
Ah, Mr. Fordham. Thank you so much for getting Kurt back home.
Don't mention it. Now, would you be willing to answer some questions?
Well, yes, of course.
Tell me what you know about Burley Cause.
He and his wife hadn't been living next door very long, maybe 4 months or so. But I didn't talk to either of them very much. They weren't interested in being neighborly, I guess. It's a shame, really. Maybe if we had known one another better, something like this could have been prevented.
What happened on the day Mr. Cause was killed?
I was here, at home, doing my knitting as usual. All of a sudden, I heard a loud bang. It sounded like a gunshot. I went and knocked on Mrs. Caus's door, but there was no answer. I did notice a smell, though. Like flowers. Something seemed wrong. So I decided to report the incident to the police. Not long after that, an officer showed up and started asking questions. Awful man he was, so rude. I could report him, but I forgot his name. I think it started with a P.
Parsons?
Yes, that's him. He called for some more officers and they got into the apartment. That's when I found out Mr. Cause had been murdered.
Okay. Wenn du Detektiv mit wenig Horror-Fantasy magst, wäre das sicherlich was. Das ist auf Bagheera, das ist auf meiner Wunschliste. Das habe ich auch schon gesehen. Ja, das muss ich mir, glaube ich, auch noch holen. Richtig, richtig cool. Hast du das schon gespielt oder spielst du das? Aber das ist auch auf meiner Steam-Wunschliste.
Where is Mrs. Cause now?
I don't know, with her mother maybe. That's usually how it goes.
You wouldn't happen to know where that is, would you?
Afraid not, but there is one other thing.
Yes?
Don't say I told you this, but, well, I used to hear the two of them through my wall. I tried ignoring it since it's really none of my business, but it became impossible.
What was it you heard?
I don't believe they had a happy marriage. They'd have awful fights a couple times a week.
What would they fight about?
Oh, all sorts of things. The worst one was when she discovered he was going to a brothel. I think he might have hit her on a few occasions, too, but I can't be certain. I hope you don't think me a horrible old gossip, but I thought you might like to know.
Not at all. I'm glad you told me.
Siehst das? Jeder Mann hat die Frau geschlagen. Blumen? Vielleicht ist es so ein Rächer der Frauen oder sowas. Wenn nicht, aber steht auch auf meiner Liste. Ja, sehr cool.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
You mean the serial killer who's been killing men in Chumley?
That's the one.
Nah, never heard of him.
What?
I'm just pulling your leg, Mr. Fordham.
I like this one. She's got spirit.
Unfortunately, I only know what I've read in the Gazette, but it's scary to think some maniac is loose on the streets doing such terrible things. And with Kurt going out by himself for hours at a time, oh, I don't like it one bit.
How long have you been living here?
Well, Kurt and I moved in shortly after we were married, so it's
Aww.
been about 34 years.
Goodness, that's a long time to be living in one place.
Yes, well, the building may be a bit run down, and it gets colder than cold in the winter, but the rent has always been cheap. You can't really ask for much more than that.
I appreciate your time, Mrs. Williamson.
Have a good day, Mr. Fordham.
Ja, perfekt, okay. Können nochmal klopfen. Also, jeder hat die Frau geschlagen.
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
Dann roch es natürlich nach Blumen. Es ist halt so typisch. Ach Gott, oh Gott, oh Gott. Jetzt hast du mich ein klein wenig erschreckt, Bagheera, ehrlich gesagt. Ich dachte mir, oh Gott, was passiert jetzt? Ich bin doch hier einfach nur auf der Karte. Vielen, vielen Dank, Bagheera. Eine kleine Beteiligung von mir, damit du das Spiel auch streamst. Oh, vielen, vielen Dank. Das ist super süß. Danke. Das mache ich auf jeden Fall. Wann fängst du denn an mit dem? Ja. Okay, weiter geht's. Es ist echt schlimm manchmal mit den ganzen Alerts, weil man dann nicht weiß, ob das im Spiel ist oder nicht oder so. Ich dachte, ganz ehrlich, jetzt passiert gerade ein Mord und man hört es jetzt plötzlich, weil jemand schreit. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, Kaffeehaus, Polizeirevier, Taxi haben wir auch noch mal. Ja. Wie heißt denn eigentlich unser Polizei-Heini? Richtig. Ich weiß nicht, vermutlich, wenn ich Weihnachtsurlaub habe, dann vielleicht. Was ich mich aber frage, wieso hast du Horror-Alerts? Weil ich das super finde. Ich finde das witzig. Ich weiß schon, ich muss das eigentlich immer mal wieder ändern, egal was ich spiele. Aber ich mag das eigentlich total, total gern. Aber ich sollte mir nochmal andere suchen, was ich halt eher so. Aber in Horrorspielen ist Horror-Alert super. In anderen Spielen ist halt was Einfaches, Süßes, Nettes. Ganz witzig, aber ja. Aber ich mag die eigentlich ganz gerne. Ich lasse die auch erstmal noch ein bisschen drin. Ruby finden. Aber schau mal, ich habe doch eigentlich schon gesprochen mit ihr.
She's busy. No point bothering her if we've got nothing to ask.
Lampenlager. Warte mal, da können wir eigentlich auch nichts machen. Achso, oder wir können wieder mit ihm reden. Parlament, Frau. Schauen wir mal beim Taxi. Das war... Fahrer bei Taxi. Kurzbericht. Polizei fand Willingham zu Hause, nachdem sein Arbeitgeber eine Vermisstenanzeige aufgab. Tatort untersucht, aber keine ungewöhnlichen Dinge festgestellt, bis auf das Wort Justiz, das mit Blut an der Wand geschrieben wurde. Keine Zeugen, Leben und Gewohnheiten von Willingham ergaben keine Auffälligkeiten. Achso, vielleicht können wir über... Wobei, die ist ja arbeitslos, gell? Ich muss, glaube ich, mal ins Polizeirevier danach.
Remember, a black eye is not a badge of honor. Anyone picking a fight will be dismissed immediately. Well, that's hardly any fun, is it?
Hermann?
A good old reliable hansom cab. Nothing fancy, just gets you from point A to point B. The way it should be. I thought about a career as a mechanic once. Glad I chose police work. Way less messy.
Okay.
Good evening.
Oh, it's you again. Small world.
Indeed. Mr. Shaw, was it?
That's right. So, what brings you around to the cab depot?
I wanted to ask you some questions if you can spare some time.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Ach, richtig. War der nicht... Warte mal, jetzt muss man überlegen, war der nicht an dem Künstlerding da gestanden?
Did you know Reggie Willingham?
Reggie? Sure, I knew him. Well, just as rather I didn't.
Oh? Why do you say that?
The man was a bore, a
Ein Rüpel,
scoundrel,
ein
a
Schurke, ein
no-good
Nichtsnutz.
bounder.
I wish he would tell us how he really felt.
Only reason they kept him on here was because he was a good driver.
So it's fair to say you didn't like him?
Nobody did. When I heard he'd been killed, it wasn't exactly a surprise. If I treated people the way he did, I'd surely have a lot of enemies.
Okay.
Could you elaborate a bit on Mr. Willingham's behavior?
Oh, he was a proud one. Thought he was God's gift to mankind. Always strutting around, bragging about how many gratuities he'd earned, or how many fist fights he'd won against drivers from Phillips. He had the shortest fuse I've ever seen, too. Just looking at him the wrong way could set him off. I'd always laugh to myself when he'd brag about how many women he'd had in a week.
Why is that?
Because it was obvious he had to pay for the pleasure. A man like that isn't going to get a woman otherwise. I may not be a hit with the ladies, but even I know that being a bastard is a surefire way to drive them off.
Okay, hat das irgendwas auch mit der Dame im Bordell zu tun? Der andere war ja auch im Bordell. Also der hat dann auch gezahlt. Wahrscheinlich hat er die dann geschlagen. Wahrscheinlich war ein anderer, der ziemlich verrückt nach dieser Frau im Bordell war. Und die haben ihm dann erzählt, dass sie geschlagen werden. Und dann, vielleicht duftet das Bordell nach Lilie oder Osterlilie. Oder vielleicht heißt das Bordell Osterlilie oder sowas. Keine Ahnung. Und dann, vielleicht hat er die dann umgebracht aus Rache, weil der die Frauen geschlagen hat. Wobei, da hat er nicht die Bordellfrau... Ach, oh Gott, jetzt spinne ich schon
Are
weiter.
you familiar with the so-called Justice Killer?
I've heard a few rumors here and there about some murders in the chum, but I haven't paid them much attention. There's plenty for me to worry about in my own life.
Aren't you concerned for your safety?
Not really. Well, I haven't done anything wrong. So if this loony's going around doing justice, nothing for me to worry about.
He makes a good point. I think we need to get a better idea of what exactly these victims did to incur the wrath of our killer.
Vielleicht hieß das Bordell ja auch Justiz.
What can you tell me about Colson Cabs?
Not a bad place, really. Only problem is the number of people always coming here for work. Lots of folks think driving a cab is an easy job that anyone can do, but that's not the case. You need to know this city like the back of your hand, and it helps to know how to drive. So we get lots of fellas starting here who don't have the slightest clue what they're doing. They don't last long.
What about the automated cabs? Are those a problem for you?
I prefer not to think about those. Colson has said he's got no plans to replace his fleet, so it's all that matters to me.
Are you still living in Pumblechook Place?
I am, sir. Not much has changed, to be honest. None of us have been kicked out yet, so that's good. Don't know what else to tell you, really.
Have you had any trouble from the Redites?
No, sir. They got no reason to give us any trouble. What with us still using horse-drawn cabs. I imagine the fellas over at Phillips have, but I can't be certain. We don't deal with those a lot if we can help it.
I don't think interviewing anyone from Phillips would be a good use of our time. Our priority is finding the Justice Killer, after all.
I appreciate your time, sir.
Pleasure's all mine.
So. Ein Modell des Justizheims passt eigentlich
Fordham,
gut.
how goes the investigation?
I'm making some headway.
Is that right? I certainly hope so for your sake.
Ein Modell des Justizheims passt eigentlich gut. Das Rechtssystem ist ja oftmals auch eine Prostituierte. Ja, manchmal habe ich dann irgendwie komische Gedankengänge. Wobei irgendwie schließt sich's dann irgendwann wieder. Oder ich bin komplett falsch. Das kann alles sein.
The rumor was always that the chief kept a bottle of something in a secret compartment in this cabinet. In Snelling's case, it's probably just water. Ah, Chief Jacobs. Now there was a leader. Every book and file in there is organized to perfection. I'll bet Snelling gets flustered if anything is even a millimeter out of place. You should bump into the side when he's not looking.
So, same. Gut, wir sprechen mal mit ihm.
Chief Snelling?
Yes, Fordham?
What information do you have on the Justice Killer?
Clearly not as much as you.
I see how this is gonna go.
Well, what do you have?
A list of 5 victims, some information on each of them, and no clear idea what connects them. Until your discovery of the lily at each scene, that was where we stood. While I doubt this discovery will do much to aid in tracking him down, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Soll ich erstmal mit ihr reden? Wobei sie ja jetzt nicht mehr dort arbeitet. Deswegen.
You know anything about Percival McDonough?
He's a member of parliament. I believe his constituency is somewhere in central Kingsland. From the reports I've gotten, McDonough led a rather unassuming life for a politician. He is, however, the first victim who didn't live in Chumley. Either there's a link we've missed, or the killer is changing his method. Then again, since you seem so confident in your abilities to resolve this matter, I assume you'll provide an explanation.
Count on it. What do you know about the Justice Killer's previous victims?
Only what's in their files. All working men from Chumley. That's the only link.
You didn't look further into their personal lives? Maybe they had some social connection.
As I said, the detectives found nothing. You seem to think you can do better, so I'll leave it up to you.
You have to wonder how much more thorough the department's investigations would have been if the 4 men were all rich like McDonough.
So I see the department is still running like a well-oiled machine.
It is, in fact. But I'm sure Upton has kept you well informed of our activities. Count yourself fortunate that your interference in our investigations didn't do any lasting damage.
Have you got any information on the Redites?
The Redites? That ridiculous gang of troublemakers? Yes, I have some information. What's your interest in them?
A witness is refusing to speak with me unless I can figure out who sabotaged his iron mill.
I see. All I can offer is a list of names of known Redites along with their last known whereabouts. But I remind you that you only have until tomorrow afternoon before this indulgence expires, and I throw you in jail. This seems like a waste of time.
That's my decision to make.
Very well. I'll give you the list when you're ready to leave.
Listen, about Leger's death.
I don't want to hear it, Fordham. What happened, happened. Nothing you can say is going to change my opinion on the matter.
And if I manage to find the man responsible?
The man responsible is standing before me. Even if you manage to find the culprit you let escape, it isn't going to bring Leger back from the dead.
But it will bring closure to the matter.
If that thought is what allows you to sleep at night, then so be it.
What makes him think you sleep at night?
Enjoying your new position, Snelling?
Reaping the rewards for years of hard work and dedicated service. A gratifying feeling you'll never be able to experience.
Oh, I get my gratification in other ways.
I'm sure you do. and I'd honestly rather not know about them.
I need to get back to my investigation.
Yes, time is not on your side, Fordham.
Boah, wie unmöglich der ist, ne?
Here you are. This is the most recent list of known Redites.
Okay.
This is a lot of names. If we're going to track down this saboteur, it might be best to retire to a more tranquil environment. Fancy a trip back to Upton's?
Okay, dann machen wir das.
Right. This should be a quiet enough spot to concentrate on finding that saboteur. I just hope Upton doesn't mind you turning her parlor into your own personal study.
I'm sure she'll have no objection. Now, let's have a look at that list again.
I think we can rule out Mr. Sullivan as a suspect. He's Western Vespuccia's problem now.
Aha.
Unless Mr. McKee has escaped from prison, which I highly doubt, he's not our man.
Aha, okay. Na? Kann ich den gar nicht anklicken.
If dead men could cause explosions, let's just say things would be a lot different. This clearly isn't the right suspect. Peyton Ferguson. The initials match those on the letter we got at the Lamplight Depot.
I'd say it's our best bet.
Lucian Donaldson. Those initials don't match the ones on the letter. I don't think this person is our suspect.
Okay. Jetzt können wir da nichts mehr machen. Dann gehen wir mal wieder raus.
Well, well. Who's this lovely specimen?
Allow me to introduce Peyton Ferguson, known Redite and prime suspect in a sabotage at the Thorbomb Ironworks. I picked him up and brought him straight to you.
Ooh, a saboteur. Just leave him to me and I'll make him feel right at home.
Please find the Justice Killer soon, Miles. Being Giles' prisoner is not my idea of a good time.
Right. I'll leave you to it then.
Ach, haben wir den jetzt... Achso, ich dachte, wir können das... Habe ich... Das war... Was? Oh Gott. Ich hoffe, das habe ich jetzt das Richtige getan. Okay. Schauen wir mal.
Mr. Mims, a word if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, what is it?
I found the person responsible for sabotaging your iron mill.
Oh, yeah?
His name is Peyton Ferguson. He's currently at the Bow Street Jail.
Hey, not bad. I owe you one, Detective.
He certainly does.
Okay.
What can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland?
Good worker. Mostly kept to himself. Real shame what happened to him.
Do you know if anyone here disliked Kirkland?
Enough to want him dead? Nah. There's the occasional scrap, but everyone around here gets along for the most part. Like I said, he mostly kept to himself. Head down, didn't bother nobody.
Do you know what he did outside of work?
No idea. I only ever saw him here.
You said Kirkland was a good worker?
One of my best. I knew something was up when he didn't show up for a couple of days. Don't think he'd ever missed work before.
Did he have any personal effects he kept here, or an area where he worked?
He had a cabinet downstairs in the workers' changing area, just like everyone else. You can go take a look if you want, but I don't think the police found anything. Kirkland's cabinet is the third one from the left.
I'll be going now.
Be careful on your way out.
Okay.
At least having a heater down here manages to keep things warm. I remember the changing rooms at the police station were always ice cold. Just another unmarked storage cabinet.
Ja, die haben bitte nicht mehr unter der Dusche rasieren. Die Putzfrau hat mir beinahe den Kopf abgerissen. Sie sagt, dass beim Abfluss den ganzen Haaren nicht mehr klarkommt. Mims. Okay, normalerweise hängt sowas immer bei den Damen, aber ist okay. So, sonst...
Sounds like there's someone in there. If you weren't so bashful, I'd suggest joining in. You could certainly use it.
Ey, sag mal, es klingt so, als ob wir uns ewig nicht mehr geduscht hätten. Oh, super. Hat er gesagt, welche... Die Zahl oder so? Nee, ne? Wie kommen wir denn da jetzt rein? Hat er das gesagt und ich habe nicht aufgepasst? Das kann auch...
Mr. Mims, a word if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, what is it?
Ah,
Would you happen to know the combination to Hannibal Kirkland's cabinet?
No. Every worker sets their own combination, and I don't ask for it.
What happens if they were to forget it?
Well, have them come up with some sort of personal reminder and keep those in a file.
And do you still have Kirkland's?
I'll give it to you as soon as we're done talking.
I'll be
Okay.
going now.
Be careful on your way out. There you go. You're lucky I only clean out my files at the end of the year.
See? I always told you I wasn't disorganized. Just preparing for the future.
Schiffswrack, das rote und das weiße, das Schild. Schiffswrack, das rote, das weiße und das Schild. 1, 2, 3. Ah, Schiffswrack. 0. Das rote und das weiße. Und das Schild. 0. Was ist denn das rote und das weiße?
At least having a heater down here manages to keep things
Ich weiß auch
warm.
nicht.
I remember the changing rooms at the police station were always ice cold.
Also das heißt irgendwie 0 und da wahrscheinlich auch 0. Huh. Okay.
Empty. That's disappointing.
Not completely empty. There's something at the bottom here.
Die glühende Lilie, 12 reizende Damen stehen stets bereit. Oh, alle Größen, ob klein, ob schlank, ob Sonderangebot. Gegen Vorteil dieses Gutscheins erhalten Sie das Angebot. Eine Krone zum halben Preis. Ja, für dahin, sagt sie. Lilly.
It seems our friend Hannibal had a few extracurricular activities after all.
Gilded lily, huh? That's a bit suspicious.
Who knew such a pretty flower could cause such an inconvenience? The answer to that question is me, in case you were wondering. Flowers bring nothing but trouble. Trouble and snot.
That's enough, Bill. We need to get a move on.
Siehst du? Lilie. Lilly. Ah, es hat alles so sein... Ach Gott. Das ist ja... Der Kreis schließt sich.
Well, hello there, handsome. Welcome to the Gilded Lily. Come over here and tell me what kind of pleasure it is you're looking for.
I'm afraid I'm here for business, not pleasure.
Oh, well, that's just a shame, isn't it?
I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. And you are?
You can call me Serafina. I'm in charge of this establishment.
You won't mind if I take a look around or ask you some questions?
As long as you keep to the front room, you can do whatever you like. Beyond that, you're gonna have to pay.
Maybe it's best if you leave this part out when you tell Adelaide about the case later.
Okay, warte mal.
Looks
Sekunde.
nervous. Wonder if this is his first time.
Das kann sein. Trink ein bisschen Wein und Trauben. Tür,
You
Bild.
certainly won't find art like that at the National Gallery.
Oh, warum denn
What a
nicht?
charming statue. Wouldn't she get cold fetching water in that state of undress? Oh, my virgin eyes.
Ach, Quark.
I'm not too familiar with places like this, but I believe that's where the fun happens. If you've got the crowns for it.
Aber da müssen wir dann zahlen, oder? Komm, sprechen
May
wir
I ask you
erstmal.
a few questions, Serafina?
Of course you may, but I can't guarantee the answers will be free.
Ach, Pübi. Siehst du eh nur die Hälfte, brauchst du kein Geld.
Do you know anything about the Justice Killer?
I'm afraid not, dear. I don't normally associate with killers.
Are you sure you don't know anything? He's the reason I'm here.
Well, I can assure you I know nothing about your murderer. If the trail has led you here, it's surely just coincidence.
Yeah, she seems awfully certain of that. It's a good thing we don't believe in coincidences.
Did you have a man named Hannibal Kirkland as a client?
I make it my practice not to learn the names of any customers here, Mr. Fordham. I hate to disappoint anyone who comes through those doors, but discretion is paramount in this business.
Well, at least you know you can trust these women with your secrets.
Do you by chance have a girl named Ruby in your service?
Ruby? Yes, she's one of our newest girls. And she's not in any sort of trouble, is she?
Not at all. I merely wanted to speak with her.
Well, she should be in the dressing room. If you go through the rear door and follow the hallway down, it's the last door on the left.
I see. Thank you. Did you know Percival McDonough?
The politician? I knew who he was, but never met him personally.
He was seeing Ruby, wasn't he?
Not regularly, no. In fact, his first and only visit with her was yesterday.
Were you aware that he was murdered shortly after that?
I had no idea. How terrible.
Yes, it is terrible. This means she's lost a potential repeat customer.
This is a lovely establishment you have, and such a nice name, too.
Thank you, my dear. It wasn't always called the Gilded Lily, though. We were formerly known as Le Maison des Tolérances.
What inspired the name change?
Ah, that's a bit of a long story. Not worth getting into.
How long have you been operating?
Going on 25 years. Business has been good. There's a reason this is the world's oldest profession, you know.
So, how did you get into this business?
Like many of the other girls, it was the best of some bad options. I had no interest in being beholden to a husband. I may be a fallen woman, but better to fly and fall than to have your wings clipped.
Do you enjoy the work?
It's a job like any other, Mr. Fordham. There are good days and there are bad days. But my girls are my family. We take care of each other. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, my dear.
Okay, dann gehen wir mal rein. Oh, wie schaut's hier denn aus?
Hello. Did Serafina send you back here for me?
Yes, but not for the usual reasons. I'm a private investigator. My name is Miles Fordham. Ruby, I presume?
Yes, that's right. What do you need from me?
Just some information.
Well, I'll do my best.
Hervorragend. Oh,
The girls here don't get much in the way of a dressing area. Still, something is better than nothing, I suppose.
aber das ist kaputt hier.
Lily, 1809 to 1843. I wonder what happened to her. I'm guessing this is where most of the girls keep their personal belongings. Doesn't seem to offer much in the way of privacy.
Okay, Lily. Ruby. Oh, komme ich auch schon ganz durcheinander mit ganzen
So,
Girls.
Ruby,
Yes?
have you heard of the Justice Killer?
No, I don't believe so.
He's a serial murderer who's killed 5 victims, mostly men from Chumley.
Oh dear, that sounds dreadful. Is that what you're investigating?
It is. Do you know anyone who might have some information about him?
I don't. Sorry I can't be more help.
Did you ever have a client named Hannibal Kirkland?
No, that name doesn't sound familiar. Sorry.
Do you know Ennis Bowditch?
Bowditch? Didn't think I'd be hearing that name again.
As I understand it, he was seeing your friend, the serving girl at the ruined coffee house.
Yeah, that's right. Annabelle. She broke things off with him a while ago, though.
So she said. Did you ever know him to be violent?
Violent? The bastard nearly beat Annabelle's brains in once. Why do you think she chucked him?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
At least she had the good sense to get rid of him.
Perhaps we should go confirm this newly discovered fact with Annabelle.
Did you ever meet a man named Burley Cause?
No, I never met him, but one of the other girls had him as a client. I remember because she was laughing about his name. He wasn't very burly, if you get my meaning.
Right. Are you familiar with Reggie Willingham?
Oh, him? He had to be banned from here.
Really? What happened?
He got way too rough with one of the girls. She ended up shy a few teeth.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, apparently he wasn't too fond of boundaries. Good riddance to him, I say.
Were you aware that Mr. Willingham was murdered?
What? Oh, well, now I feel terrible for saying good riddance. I meant...
I think I know what you meant, Ruby. It's fine.
Is it me, or is there a pattern starting to emerge here?
Ja, voll. Hallo, das wissen wir doch schon früher.
You met recently with Percival McDonough, is that right?
How did you know that? I thought he was meant to keep those sorts of things private.
He had your name written down in his calendar.
And you found me here based on that?
Well, I am a detective.
Suppose that's true. Anyway, yes. I only met him the one time. There wasn't anything remarkable about him. After we finished, he got all emotional about his wife, but I could hardly understand what he was saying. I hate it when they cry afterwards.
Ah, oh Gott.
That's a rather nice portrait. Who's the subject?
Oh, that's Lily. Before my time. Serafina knows loads about her. Even changed the name of this place in her honor. You might try asking her if you want to know more.
How long have you been in this business?
Only a few months now. Used to work at a kitchen, but then they brought in some of those new automated machines.
Sadly familiar story.
At least this profession isn't in any danger of being made obsolete by steam tech. Cold steel can never replace a warm touch.
Let's just hope that's true.
I'll just leave you to it then.
Thanks, love.
Okay. Sollen wir sie nochmal nach Lilly fragen?
May I ask you a few questions, Serafina?
Of course you may, but I can't guarantee the answers will be free.
Could you tell me about the young lady in the portrait hanging in the back room?
Ah, that's Lily Peterson. She was a wonderful woman and a great friend.
What happened to her?
It's a rather tragic story, Mr. Fordham. I'd rather not go into too much detail. The short version is this. She was with a client who got very carried away. She was able to defend herself enough to mortally wound the bastard, but the damage had already been done. The girls and I decided among us that we would rename this establishment in her honor. Some days it's still hard to believe she's gone. I haven't even been able to get rid of her box of things.
I'm very sorry for your loss, Serafina.
Thank you, dear. It was especially awful given Lily's past. Her sister died at the hands of her own husband some 16 years before. Some people just can't escape tragedy, no matter how far they run.
Huh. Something tells me these deaths are significant. It might be a good idea to learn as much as we can about Lily Peterson.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, my dear.
Okay. Müssen wir jetzt alles nochmal abklappern vielleicht,
He seems rather
möglicherweise?
upset over
Nee.
the current circumstances. Probably best not to talk to him unless it's...
Okay.